Have you ever lain awake at midnight staring at the ceiling, wondering what it means that one day you'll be gone? We might laugh at dark memes about our own demise or jokingly shout, "Winter is coming," at Game of Thrones spoilers. But that's the tension. On the surface, we joke about death. Yet deep down, it's the question that haunts us. We scroll through social feeds, chase streaming marathons, and grind through another 10-hour day to sidestep that question. Traffic is backed up, Zoom meetings pile up, and some of us even fire off silly questions to AI chatbots to distract ourselves. Death seems like someone else's problem, until it isn't. Death is the final frontier, quietly knocking on the door of emperors and comedians alike. What if, instead of fearing it, we chose to listen? Every tradition, every philosophy, faith, or even modern science holds up a mirror reflecting death back at us. Step by step, let's explore these reflections. Each one might show us not just a face of fear, but a roadmap to living more fully. Imagine an ancient philosopher emperor writing by candlelight, reminding himself, "Tonight I may die." By greeting the idea of death each day, he actually found a strange freedom in life. Stoic wisdom treats death like a setting sun, inevitable and natural. Every sunset promises another sunrise, just as each ending makes way for a new beginning. They didn't see death as an enemy, but as part of the rhythm of nature. Think of our frantic modern lives. A latte spilled on your shirt, a missed deadline, a lost Wi-Fi connection. A Stoic would smirk and shrug it off. Compared to the vast cosmic stage, these are just minor bloopers. In a world where hustle culture urges us to grind 24/7 and filter every moment for Instagram, a Stoic quietly asks, if tonight might be your last, how would you live differently? Consider your body like a smartphone that gets updated each year. Those wrinkles and silver hairs, just software upgrades. Nothing to panic over. Instead of mourning an old model, imagine unboxing yourself on your next birthday like revealing a sleek new gadget. One emperor reminded himself, "Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Today, social media screams, YOLO. You only live once." But the Stoics had the same idea. Without the hashtag, they would ask, what's the point of that extra hour of overtime if life might end tonight? By accepting death as inevitable, they teach us to live boldly in the now. Others see that final boundary not as an end, but as a beginning. Picture the horizon after a storm, dawn light spilling over storm clouds. Many faiths tell us death is not a brick wall, but a doorway to that morning. In one story, the deepest night gives way to Easter sunrise. Think of death as a sleep before a new day. One chapter ends, but the story continues. In love or in loss, this perspective whispers, even the longest night is followed by dawn. Bring this idea home. Lost your job? Maybe the setback is making space for a better opportunity. Suffering a heartbreak? Perhaps it's a winter making ground for spring flowers. Even after endless hours of doom scrolling or pointless Zoom meetings, what if each sunrise is a promise of something new, even through grief and burnout? This view doesn't pretend pain isn't real, but it reminds us our story isn't over with one ending. Faith teaches us to hold on to hope, believing that beyond every night of tears there might be a morning of joy waiting. And if we listen closely, the end of one thing might just be the beginning of something new, like a phoenix rising from its own ashes. And if that sunrise promise never comes, we find ourselves on an empty stage, all eyes on us. What if there were no director, no script, and no guaranteed sequel to your life? Imagine waking to find this world is a vast open-world simulation with zero guarantees. No voice calling cut or restart, just endless sunrises and our own freedom to choose. Such absurdity means we're on our own. We scroll TikTok and Instagram for meaning, while forgetting there's no cosmic stage manager keeping score of likes. Think of life as a Netflix series with an uncertain future. You might only be in season 1, and it's up to you whether a season 2 ever comes. One thinker pictured life as rolling a boulder uphill forever, only to watch it tumble down, and every time smiling to do it all again. Another said, "We're condemned to be free, thrown into existence with no manual, but with infinite power to choose." If this is it, no hidden director, no afterlife billboard, then every scene matters. Would you replay old grudges or improvise acts of love? Without a guaranteed encore, think of each day as a blank page in your story. Live like it's your last performance. Dance, create, rebel, or simply love fully. You wrote this script. No promise of an encore? All the more reason to make this scene unforgettable. And yet, beyond all our choices and beliefs, some Eastern traditions offer another perspective. Imagine lying in a hospital bed, pain fading, when a single moment of clarity floods your mind like sunlight through dark clouds. Tibetan Buddhism calls this the clear light at the threshold of death, the mind's truest nature shining through. Picture your consciousness moving through an airport of afterlives, passing one gate after another until at last you arrive at a dazzling terminal of light. It's not a horror scene, it's more like an intermission before the next act. Imagine life as a video game. At the end, you don't vanish. You simply switch avatars and continue to a new level. The old body is just an empty vessel, an abandoned gaming pod. The soul straps into the next adventure. Some Tibetan teachers call that final glow the ultimate reality. If death holds such a radiant truth, think how differently we'd live now, wide awake to every moment. In the West, this may sound mystical, but consider, we train ourselves to recognize dreams. Why not practice staying awake at the final moment of life? Start today. Tell your aging father, "I love you," or forgive that friend before it's too late. Make every day a practice for that final awakening. Every ordinary moment becomes precious training. Tibetan wisdom reminds us, right here, right now, each breath is part of the rehearsal. And now, even science seems to echo these ancient hints. Even science can't ignore the mystery. In a surprising 2013 study at the University of Michigan, when patients' hearts stopped, their brains flared with activity, intense bursts of gamma waves, even stronger than waking consciousness. It was as if, just as the body powered down, the mind threw one last rave. Perhaps that's why near-death survivors everywhere report eerily similar scenes. A tunnel of bright light, a panoramic life review, a profound peace beyond description. Science isn't claiming proof of an afterlife, but these findings shake the idea that death is an instant off switch. One neuroscientist even joked that this might be our consciousness's final encore. Perhaps the brain's last act is to light up the darkness one more time. A farewell gift of meaning at the edge of everything. All these mirrors, when viewed together, point the same way. Awareness of death makes life shine brighter. Across all these reflections, one truth stands out. Knowing life is finite makes it more precious. People on their deathbeds often whisper the same regrets. They spent too much time working and not enough with loved ones. They bottled up feelings instead of saying, "I love you" or "I'm sorry." They lost touch with friends and let those relationships fade. They never allowed themselves simple joys and moments of happiness. These are not the years they wished for. They're the moments they let slip away. Let death be the brutally honest life coach it is. Imagine your to-do list suddenly reading, "Cherish today like it's your last day." If every email you type could be your final sign-off, you'd write it with heart. If every meal might be your last feast, you'd savor each bite fully. Never rush through a goodbye. If today might be the last time you hug a friend, wouldn't you hold their hand a second longer? Think back to the last time you were furious in traffic or fretting over a flat tire. Now imagine you're decades older looking back from your deathbed. How important will that moment feel? In the music of life, death isn't a silence at the end. It's the pauses that make the melody meaningful. Every little death, a lost job, a broken heart, a dream deferred, is a practice run for the final curtain. Because what if there is no second chance? Live like it matters, because it does. Maybe hang up your phone and lean in closer at the dinner table to hear a loved one's voice. And for those of us addicted to social media, if life is your highlight reel, make each moment truly worthy of sharing. The greatest legacy you can leave is a life well lived, frame by frame. Peer into the mirror of mortality. Who's looking back? Perhaps a braver, kinder soul than you knew. Now listen, that quiet voice at the edge of sleep is whispering, remember, this will be a memory. If you heed it, it urges you to live now with more curiosity, compassion, and courage. After all, the sun will rise again tomorrow, whether we see it or not, and the world will keep spinning. This is the greatest encore we have. Let's live it fully, one heartbeat at a time.